Caitanya Premanande. Jayam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Ashtata Shata Shri Srimad Desi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki, Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Shri Gaur Bhaktavrinda ki, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyam Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan ki, Shri Govardhan Dham ki, Shri Mayapur Dham ki, Shri Vrindavan Dham ki, Jagannath Puri Dham ki, Ganga Mai Yamuna Mai ki, Bhakti Devi Tulasi Devi ki, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki, ISKCON Vartmana Guruvinda ki, Samatavita Bhaktavrinda ki, Nitai Gaur Sitanath Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Krishna, the only way should have our passions purified by the words emanating from his Lord's mouth. His passion is rosy, and perfection is all desires. Your passion is not outside, it goes to heart. He is my Lord, birth of the world, from him is strength, and my emanation, but him is his sword, and his single is character. Our spiritual master in the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, loved by the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us, and give us shade without to sleep. Your fame is better than the three worlds. We take shelter of the lotus feet. Nine grace is back to that song to the brother.
Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Kopidana Vallabha Kopidana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhavo Kunda Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Vradhanarandana Yamuna Tiraha Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhavo Kunda Bihari Jayo Radha Madhavo Kunda Bihari Shri Harinam Sankirtan ke Srila Prabhupada ke Gaur Premanande Jai Jai Sri Caitanya Jai Nityananda
Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jai Sri Caitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Reading from Sri Caitanya Caritamrta Adi Lila, 10th chapter, the branches of the Caitanya tree, and we are reading 20, 21, and 22, I believe. Correct. 20 is on the board? No, 21. Pandita Jagadananda Prabhura Pranarupa
Pandita Jagadananda Prabhura Pranarupa
Pandita Jagadananda Prabhura Pranarupa
Pandita Jagadananda Prabhura Pranarupa
Loke Kyata Yenho Satya Bhamara Swarupa
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 Pandita Jagadananda Prabhura Pranarupa
Pandita Jagadananda Prabhura Pranarupa
Loke Kyata Yenho Satya Bhamara Swarupa
Loke Kyata Yenho Satya Bhamara Swarupa Pandita Jagadananda Prabhura Pranarupa Pandita Jagadananda Prabhura Pranarupa Loke Kyata Yenho Satya Bhamara Swarupa Loke Kyata Yenho Satya Bhamara Swarupa Pandita Jagadananda Prabhura Pranarupa Pandita Jagadananda Prabhura Pranarupa Loke Kyata Yenho Satya Bhamara Swarupa Loke Kyata Yenho Satya Bhamara Swarupa
Pandita Jagadananda Prabhura Pranarupa
Pandita Jagadananda Prabhura Pranarupa
Loke Kyata Yeno Satya Bhamara Swarupa
Loke Kyata Yeno Satya Bhamara Swarupa
Ladies.
Pandita Jagadananda Prabhura Pranarupa
Pandita Jagadananda Prabhura Pranarupa
Satyabhamara Swarupa
Loke Caitanya Satyabhamara Swarupa
Pandita Jagadananda Prabhura Pranarupa
Pandita Jagadananda Prabhura Pranarupa Loke Caitanya Satyabhamara Swarupa Pandita Jagadanando Pandita Jagadanando Prabhura of the Lord Pranarupa life and soul Loke in the world Kyato celebrated Yenho who Satyabhamara of Satyabhama Swarupa personification. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Pandit Jagadananda, the sixth branch of the Caitanya tree, was celebrated as the life and soul of the Lord. He is known to have been an incarnation of Satyabhama, one of the chief queens of Lord Krishna. Purport. There are many dealings of Jagadananda Pandit with Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Most importantly, he was the Lord's constant companion, and especially took part in all the pastimes of the Lord, in the houses of Srivas Pandit and Chandrasekhara Acharya. 22. Pritye karite chahe prabhura lalana palana vairagya loka bhaye prabhu namane kakana. Jagadananda Pandit, as an incarnation of Satyabhama, always wanted to see to the comfort of Lord Chaitanya. But since the Lord was a sannyasi, he did not accept the luxuries that Jagadananda Pandit offered. 23. Duijane katmati lagaya kondala tandra prityera kata age kahiba sakala. They sometimes appeared to fight over trifles, but these quarrels were based on their affection, of which I shall speak later. Om Ajnanatimarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Jayasi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripadamaham vande Sri Gurudinataranam Paramananda Maravam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we were asked to give class today by Daimor Prabhu. So here in the 10th chapter of the Adi Lila, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami is describing the branches of the Caitanya tree. First he had established the tattva of what is reality, what is substance. He has given the whole Sambandha Gyan about knowledge of identity of the Lord and of the living entity and their relationship. And before he gets into the advent and the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gives a summary description of the main devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is quite interesting to see that before he describes the Lord's advent and his pastimes, he describes the Lord's devotees. In other words, we can't approach the Lord without approaching his devotees. That is a fact. So, in previous verses we heard about Rakeshwar Pandit, who would dance continuously sometimes for 72 hours. So much so that Lord Chaitanya said, if I had another one like you, then I had two wings, then I could fly in the sky. Because he was dancing so enthusiastically, so exuberantly. And all these personalities, their pastimes will be described in later parts of the Caitanya Caritamrta. Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami didn't know how much time he had left to live. He was in very advanced age, and he says that only by the mercy of the Vaishnavas, by the stick of the Vaishnavas' mercy, am I able to traverse this great ocean of the material world. And he gave summaries of each of the chapters that he was describing, not knowing how long he were to stay on this planet. So he wanted the devotees at least have the essence. That's why very early on he practically summarizes the whole Caitanya Caritamrta, just so that the devotees would have something substantial by which to remember the Lord and his devotees. So here today we hear about Jagadananda Pandit, who is none other than Satyabhama. We all know that Satyabhama is one of Krishna's queens, and she has a very fiery nature. So she is always having love quarrels with the Lord. So much so that one time when Krishna gave Rukmini a parijata flower, she reacted like, okay, what about me? You gave her the parijata, what are you going to give me? So then Krishna gave her a whole tree. This shows how much love he had for her and what their relationship was. There was different pastimes that we are not going to elaborate upon now. But Jagadananda Pandit, he was in a mood of, his mood was always externally appearing to be contrary. He had a disposition which was very fiery. He would often criticize. He would often leash out. He had bouts of anger. And we will describe some of these pastimes. Yet we have to understand, it is important to understand that all these different rasas are manifestation of the love and of the service attitude of the devotees. They're not doing this because they're affected by the modes of material nature. But they know fully well how to give pleasure to Krishna, how to give pleasure to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by fulfilling that role and enacting those pastimes. Just like if you were to have a drama, what do you need in order to have a drama?
Conflict.
Conflict, yes. Because conflict brings tension, right? Do you like tension? No, right? You're all love and peace. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. But without tension, there is no drama. And without drama, there is no rasa. And without rasa, there is no enjoyment. So if you want to have enjoyment, you need rasa. And if you want to have rasa, you need tension. What else you need besides tension? Work with me, sadhus.
Need resolution, is it? To resolve it.
Resolving, okay, what else?
Comedy.
Comedy, yes. There has to be humor, there has to be some funny elements. What else?
Needs to be a hero and a villain.
There has to be a hero. Without a hero, there's no drama. And there's got to be a villain, right? What else has to be there?
Moral story, theme of the drama.
Theme of the drama, yes.
Getting out of it.
Yes.
Action.
Yes, action. Otherwise it's flat, right? What happened? Nothing happened. Oh, great, wonderful. Nothing happened. Amazing, right? What an extraordinary drama. Nothing happened, right? Pretty boring, huh?
Emotions.
Huh?
Emotions.
Emotions, yes. Absolutely. So all of that you will find in Sri Caitanya Caritamrta because it is the topmost literature. It is the quintessence of all the flavors and all the rasas. They're all in Caitanya Caritamrta. So sometimes neophytes will say that Prabhupada has not given the highest knowledge. He just gave some Bandhagyan and then, a couple of Krishna stories. But besides that, he has not dare to venture there because he knew his audience was not qualified, and the rest they don't say, but basically they don't trust his judgment. But if you were actually to study Srimad Bhagavatam and Caitanya Caritamrta and Nectar of Instruction, you would see how Srila Prabhupada is taking us from Sambandha Gyan all the way up to Radhakund. It's the entire scale. It's all there. There's nothing missing. So Jagadananda Pandit, he was present in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes in Mayapur and in Jagannath Puri, and he also went to Vrindavan. So he was in all the different places. He was present. So his mood was a mood of, I want to serve my Lord by giving him comfort, because that is what a queen does. A queen wants her beloved, the king, to enjoy opulence, to have facility. But there is a problem. What is the problem? Mahaprabhu is a sannyasi, and he's Vairagya Vidya Nicha Bhakti Yoga Shikshartameva Purusha Purana Sri Krishna Chaitanya Shariradhari Kripambudir Yastva Maham Prapadye. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to exemplify in his own life Vairagya Vidya, renunciation through wisdom, through transcendental knowledge. And he was manifesting this to the ultimate degree. So much so that he was averse to any type of comforts, to any type of luxury, to any type of enjoyment. Yet Jagadananda was relentless. He was persistent. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Jagannath Puri, as a sannyasi, he would walk barefoot and he would wear a simple loincloth, and he would lie down on the ground to sleep. And Jagadananda could not tolerate that. For him, that was just not acceptable. That his Lord, that he loved and worshipped and adored, who he knew to be the Lord and proprietor of all the universes, the husband of all the goddesses of fortunes, that Lord would lay down on dry bark of trees, plantain trees. That was not acceptable to him, because he knew that was very uncomfortable. Have you ever been uncomfortable in your life? No, right? You're always comfortable, right? Because you know that once you get comfortable outside of comfort zone, you can be comfortable anywhere, right? So, what did he do? He got some cotton and he made a nice bedding and a nice pillow and a nice arrangement. And he gave it to Govinda and said, give it to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Govinda was scared because he knew that the Lord would not accept it. Yet he was also scared of Jagadananda, because Jagadananda was relentless and he was very adamant. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu refused. He said, no way, I will not use this. I will not lie down on this. So Jagadananda naturally became very sulky. He became very disappointed. So he devised a different plan, and he took dry leaves and he tore them into very fine fibers. And he filled some of Lord Chaitanya's old cloth, his garment, he made that into like a covering, and he filled it up with those fibers. And having heard from Govinda that Jagadananda had again persisted, Lord Chaitanya, he conceded, he accepted, and he would lie down on that. So, at another time, Lord Chaitanya sent Jagadananda to Puri to give news and Mahaprasad and console his mother. So after Jagadananda Pandit was there and he returned from Puri, he brought a big earthen pot with sandalwood oil. Now, for those of you who are not familiar, sandalwood oil is very opulent, is very luxurious, it is very nice. So it is used in the service of the Lord. It will give a cooling sensation. So he brought that because he knew that in Puri it gets very hot, and he wanted to cool down Lord Chaitanya's body. So he brought that oil and he gave that pot to Govinda. And Govinda, he mentioned it to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I'm a sannyasi, I have no use of this oil. Tell him to give it to the pujaris so they can burn it in the lamps of the temple. So when Jagadananda heard that, he was very disappointed. So he kept on pushing Govinda. So Govinda asked again the same question. And that time, Lord Chaitanya said, what? He wants me to keep a masur? You know, people will laugh. They will think this is a dari sannyasi, which means a sannyasi who keeps women. This is a sense enjoyer who's just putting on a show, just having the dress of a sannyasi. So he outwardly rejected this offering. When Govinda communicated this news to Jagadananda Pandit was very distraught and he became very upset, very angry. So when he saw Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, next time, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentioned to him personally and said, you should give this oil to the servants of Lord Jagannath so they can burn it in the lamps of the temple. And in this way, your great effort of procuring and carrying this oil all the way from Navadvip to Puri will be fruitful because you have done some wonderful service for the Lord. And Jagadananda Pandit said, sandalwood oil? What sandalwood oil are you talking about? There is no sandalwood oil. And he took the pot, he went into the courtyard and he smashed it on the ground. And it splashed all over the ground. And Jagadananda Pandit ran and went into his room and he bolted the door and he laid down and he fasted for 3 days. So much so was his love and his affection for Lord Chaitanya. On the third day, Lord Chaitanya, he came to his door. Pandit. And he heard some noise inside. Pandit, I'm going to the ocean to take my bath. Cook for me. And Lord Chaitanya went to take bath. And he heard somebody get up in the room. So he took his bath and he started cooking for Lord Chaitanya. And when Lord Chaitanya came, there was a huge feast prepared by Jagadananda Pandit. He had prepared an elaborate feast to serve it to Lord Chaitanya. So Lord Chaitanya sat down, and first he was amazed at all the preparations, and he said, just give me a little rice and a little vegetable. And Jagadananda started making faces. He saw like, uh-oh, no bueno, not good, this is bad. So he just sat down. And whatever Jagadananda fed him, he ate it. And Jagadananda kept feeding him and feeding him and feeding him till he fed him 10 times more than he normally would eat. Till Lord Chaitanya said, okay, now enough is enough. I have ate more than 10 times what I normally eat. So please. And he said, you may just eat half and leave half. And then later he brought him sandalwood pulp and flower garland, and he wanted to massage the legs of the Lord. Jai Sri Shri Radhandanishwar Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi Shri Shri Gauritai Ki Jai. And Lord Chaitanya insisted, now you go and take lunch, Jagadananda. And he said, yes, later on I will, but first I will give some of the prasad to those who cooked. Raghunath Bhatta. Who else? Who else was cooking? Work with me, sadhus. Chaitanya Caritamrta. Hello. I know Raghunath Bhatta was there and one more devotee. So he said, I want to give them prasad. Mahaprabhu told Govinda, you stay here. and when the Pandit is taking his prasad, then you come and you tell me. So he would not go and take rest before he got the message that Jagadananda actually stopped fasting and would take prasad, because he was so concerned. There was so much love, there was so much affection. One time Sanatana Goswami came to Jagannath Puri and he had contracted some disease. There was some oozing sores on his body because he had traveled for a long distance and he was in poor health. So he was very upset because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu kept on embracing him and kept on touching him, and he felt that he was just committing offenses. So he was distraught, and he thought that I'm doing this service. I'm not really doing service. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also later on told him he should go to Vrindavan and he should write transcendental books and excavate holy places. So he just shared his mind with Jagadananda Pandit. And Jagadananda Pandit gave him advice and said, yes, you should go to Vrindavan. Lord Chaitanya said you should go to Vrindavan, so you should go to Vrindavan. And Sanatana Goswami later on in the day mentioned this to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that Jagadananda Pandit also advised me to go to Vrindavan. And Mahaprabhu said, Jaga, this young boy, he's instructing you, you are his guru, and he's instructing you what to do. Who is this Jaga? He's just some young boy. And when Sanatana, and he was glorifying Sanatana Goswami. And Sanatana Goswami was saying, why are you giving him so much nectar, so much affection? Whereas to me, you're giving this bitter fruit of praise. But to him, you give the nectar of chastisement. So, one time, Jagadananda went to Vrindavan after relentlessly, persistently pushing. He got the blessings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to go to Vrindavan. And he visited Sanatana Goswami. And Sanatana Goswami was living a very simple life, doing madhukari. He was just going around begging. And whatever he had, he would offer that to Jagadananda. And one time, Jagadananda came into his cave where he stayed, and he saw that Sanatan was wearing some red cloth wrapped around his head. So he asked him that, when did you get this? Implying that he got it, Sanatan got it from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he's wearing it around his head. So Sanatan said, I got this from Mukunda Saraswati. Mukunda Saraswati is some other sannyasi. Jagadananda became furious. He picked up a pot and he ran towards Sanatan to hit him with that pot. And Sanatan, understanding the mood, the spirit, the heart of Jagadananda, he appeased him and he apologized. He said, I have no further use for this cloth and I will give it to a stranger. But you have shown your great love and devotion and dedication to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he appreciated the exclusive dedication of Jagadananda, who could not tolerate. Jagadananda said, you're one of the most intimate, the principal associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You cannot wear a cloth of some sannyasi around your head. What kind of an example are you giving? So we can see from these pastimes how the Lord is teaching through his devotees. He's showing us what is the proper way of how to render service. What is the proper way how to surrender, how to dedicate ourselves. Sometimes we think, yeah, I'm surrendered. I accept the guru and took initiation. But how much surrendered am I? The other day we were telling about Prabhupada sending off devotees who were in his personal entourage, on his personal group, and just kicking them off the train. Imagine how you would react in such a situation. I remember one time I was in Mayapur, and I asked my spiritual master, because he was staying at the senior brahmachari ashram, which is, like pretty much like Howrah train station, not very not very luxurious and not very comfortable or peaceful, to say the least, what to speak of the kitchen facility. So I asked him whether he wanted to come and stay with me, and that I would have quarters for him. And he said yes. So I waited, and after a few days he didn't come. So I asked him again if he will come to stay with me, and he said yes, I will come. And then a few days later, nothing happened. And I asked him again, will you come and stay with me? And he said yes. And he put his hand on his heart. Yes, I will try. And I realized, don't try to manipulate your guru into what you want, but rather try to understand what does he need and why does he do what he does, because he wants to set an example to others. So, Caitanya Caritamrta, this is Bhakti Sarvabhauma. This is the highest literature. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master, said that even if all the books in the world, all the books in the universe will go missing, if Caitanya Caritamrita is still there, nothing is lost. Why? Because the essence of the Bhagavatam is in Caitanya Caritamrita. The essence of the Bhagavad Gita, the essence of all the Vedic literatures is in Caitanya Caritamrita. So we're very fortunate that we have Sri Caitanya Caritamrita. Yet you may have all the books in the world on your shelf. If you don't read them, you might as well be illiterate. Have you ever seen in Zoom classes people having a lot of books behind them? And everybody thinks, wow, this guy knows a lot of stuff. But you can also just put wallpaper, behind your, or now they have these things, you just put a picture and that's your background. But then the head looks a little funny, right, when you move. That looks like a little wobbly. So, yes, we have to understand tattva, but we also have to understand rasa. There has to be balance. There has to be balance there. That is the mood and mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that's why Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is mentioning all these illustrious devotees who have shown us by their own personal example how to serve the Lord. Srila Prabhupada asked his leaders to come to Mayapur and discuss one topic every year for 2 weeks. What is that topic? This is the time for audience participation. Take out the sign. What is the topic that the GBC is supposed to discuss every year for 2 weeks? It is unity in diversity. Unity means, what is our common purpose? What is, you can say tattva, sambandha, Krishna, what is the goal? Then diversity. How are the various ways how we can actually achieve this objective? Just like you can see, their lordships are wonderfully dressed and decorated with flowers and jewelry and all kinds of ornaments. And there's certainly a lot of diversity. You can see so many colors, so many shapes, so many textures, so many materials. But there is unity. What is that unity? What will give pleasure to Krishna? How can we give pleasure to Krishna? Now, sometimes we tell people, you should just do what I do, because that's what everyone should do, right? I mean, the world will be easier. But that's the worst kind of advice that we can give people, because there is all different types of people, and everybody has their own way how they have to serve Krishna. So, unity is very important, yet without diversity, you can also just submerge it in a bucket of water. That will usually solve the problem. Some of these things are as persistent and relentless as Jagadananda Pandit. No matter what you do, nothing is gonna make it go away. So, yes, you can move up a little bit so there's more space. So we have these wonderful examples in Caitanya Caritamrta, and we should follow our tradition. We should study. Srila Prabhupada said, I only have one criticism to my followers. They don't study my books enough. We have made studies around the world. Less than 10% of our members have the books, and less than 10% of our members have read all the books. So, we should have an active plan how to read all of Prabhupada's books. And that starts today. By every day setting aside quality time, which is mostly in the morning, then we actually get something done. Just like Srila Prabhupada, he got up at midnight and he would translate 6 pages every night. And in this way he wrote over 80 books. And he inspired devotees of all kinds of backgrounds. He had a very diverse following. They were not all hippies, but some were, but others weren't. There was one devotee, he is one of the earlier followers of Srila Prabhupada in New York. His name was Robert Nelson. Have you heard of Robert Nelson? Now Robert Nelson was not an academic. He was not a very astute person when it came to academics or intellectualism. But Robert Nelson was street smart. Whenever Prabhupada needed something, Robert knew how to get it. Prabhupada needed a rug, he needed a table, he needed a lamp, he needed anything. Robert would go and get it. Robert would not leave Prabhupada's side. He was always with Prabhupada. Sold out to Prabhupada. He did not get initiated. So, one time Prabhupada asked Robert, would you like me to cook for you? And Robert said, yes. So he accompanied Prabhupada to the shop, to the store, and Srila Prabhupada picked out different groceries, and the lady at the cash register, she went ching 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 kring, ching 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 kring, ching 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 kring. You remember those cash registers? You do. You're not that old. They've been out of commission for a long time. Movies. There you go. The praman is movies. So, and then at the end she said, this will be $14.25. And Srila Prabhupada said, this is too much. I will give you half. Imagine you go to the supermarket and you tell the cashier, this is too much. I'll give you half. And the lady was startled. She was just, no one had ever told her that. But if you're from India, you can sympathize because you don't accept, any type of price. You bargain, right? So, Srila Prabhupada said, no, I bought these items many times. They can't be this much. I will give you half. And she said, no, fixed price. That he tried a different route. He said, you see, we're not doing this for ourselves. We're actually cooking for the Lord. We're doing this as service to Krishna, service to the Supreme. And she was so mesmerized. She was so bewildered and enchanted at the same time that she said, all right, you give half, I give half. So he paid half and she gave the other money from her own purse. So then they went home and Srila Prabhupada would cook and offer. And then they would take prasad together. And then they laid both on the floor and took a nap. Little siesta after. So Robert Nelson, he was a simple soul. He was very, very dedicated, very sold out to Srila Prabhupada. And then Prabhupada had others, like he walked down the street and one person came over, Howard Wheeler, and he asked him, are you from India? Srila Prabhupada said, yes. He said, are you? He said, no, but I just came back from India. And Srila Prabhupada asked him who he was, what he was doing. He said, he's a professor of English. Prabhupada said, can you edit? And he said, yeah, for an English professor, editing is not such a big of a deal. So he said, can you help me? I need some help with editing. He just picked somebody right off the street. And so he walked with him to his apartment, and he thought, yeah, you know, this person, he has written something, maybe some magazine, some article or some paper or some magazine. But Prabhupada handed him a manuscript like this. Okay, you start with this. And then he opened the trunk, and he said, then when you're done with this, then you continue with that. So he gave him a lifetime of service right there on the first moment. So this is actually what happens when you meet Guru. It's not a circus performance. It's not, oh, I'm very pleased to see this song and dance and this great spectacle. No, we become introduced to our service. We get service. We get instructions how to serve Krishna. And that is the mood and mission of Parampara. So sometimes we think, yes, I am surrendered. I have accepted. But then, are we willing to serve the Lord in the way that our spiritual master, that is pleasing to Krishna? Or do we have conditional surrender? That we say, yes, I'll serve Krishna, but only the way I like it. Huh? You know that kind of style? And it's good. It's a start. It's a beginning. Huh? Krishna says, Chatur vida bhajante mam janaksu kritino arjuna arto jigyasur gyanischa bharatarshava. 4 kinds of pious souls come to me. The one who is in distress, the one who is in want of money, the one who is curious, or the one who wants higher knowledge. They're pious. Why? Because they come to me. Huh? So any reason to come to Krishna is a good reason. It's a good enough reason to come to Krishna. But on the long run, it will not be a good enough reason to stay with Krishna. Why not? Why is it not a good enough reason to stay with Krishna?
Because Krishna accepts pure devotional service.
But he also accepts a leaf, a flower, a fruit, a water. He accepts anything. He says these are pious souls. Does Krishna only accept pure devotional service? Why is it not a good enough reason to stay?
Because it's about us, about Krishna.
It's about us, and that means...
What I want.
Yes, and that changes, like how many times a day?
Many.
Many times, right? So we will be, again, taking care of numero uno, of number one, myself truly. And we'll be chasing whatever it is that we're chasing. Why also it is not enough to stay in Krishna consciousness and to stay in the association of devotees. Because as soon as you start practicing bhakti, all of a sudden, what happens? Chant Hare Krishna and be depressed? Chant Hare Krishna and be morose? No. What is it?
Be happy.
Chant and be happy. Yeah, all of a sudden you become happy. And your distress is gone. And then you're like, hey, I'm fine now. I can go back out at it. And I can go for another round of whatever it is that I was chasing. You come to devotional service and you're very surrendered and sincere. And all of a sudden opulence starts to manifest. All of a sudden people give you things. Somebody gave me 10 pounds before class, before breakfast, That counts double, Counts twice as much if you get it before breakfast, any donation. But then all of a sudden you become prosperous or not anymore so miserable or so poor. And then you think, oh, okay, problem solved. Job done. Ho gaya. Time to move on. Let's go back to number one, to taking care of my own business. People are a little curious. They're like, what's going on here? I really want to know. Give me the knowledge. The knowledge. Gyan. I want to know what's happening. And we hear Bhagavad Gita, we get the basics, we get the fundamentals, and we understand, okay, karma, okay, this, that, the other thing. And then we think, okay, I figured it out now. Thank you. This was, That's why you should not give the long lecture on the street. You should just give him the book, give him a good impression, and then get the donation and the invitation. Give him the invitation card. Because if you tell them too much, what will people say? Oh, thank you very much. Now I know enough. I think I got my dose, and I can go back to my business right now. So just give him enough to whet people's appetite, just to whet their beak, just enough so that they want more. They're like, I need to meet you again. I want to know how this story continues. So don't give him everything, because the absolute truth is pretty vast. So don't try to give them everything on the first time. So the curious and the people looking for knowledge, once they found what they were looking for, they tend to move on. Yet, if we actually found Purushartha Shiromani, if we actually found shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which means if we actually found service in the Sankirtan mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then we can stay. Because if you want to be part of the core team, you have to have service. Just like some of you are working in companies. If you want to get higher security clearance, if you want to get more facility and more opportunity, what do you have to do? You have to do more service. You have to do more service. And to the degree that we develop this selfless service attitude, what he was mentioning, pure devotion, to that degree Krishna will actually be attracted. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so much attracted to Jagadananda Pandit that he wanted to have him constantly in his association. Even though it seemed from an external point of view that he was quite fiery, that he was quite contrary. But Lord Chaitanya enjoyed it tremendously. Of course, we should not try to imitate and think, oh, look, he was contrary, he was fiery, let me do the same thing. We should act in such a way that it's actually pleasing. But we also mentioned that Srila Prabhupada had a wide range of diverse followers from different backgrounds, different natures, different mindsets and mentalities. And Srila Prabhupada knew how to perfectly deal with each and every one of them. He talked with John Lennon's gardener about British sports cars. Now, what do you think? How much interest does Srila Prabhupada have in British sports cars? How much, approximately? Zero, right? None. But because he had heard something, because he went to Scottish Church College and he was around professors from this part of the woods, so he had some information, and he spoke with that gardener about British sports cars. And that gardener very fondly remembered Srila Prabhupada. Why? Because he knew something and he was willing to talk about something that was very dear and important to that gardener. Love me, love my dog. So if we can show people genuine appreciation and accept them for who they are and where they're at on their path, on their journey, people will actually bond. It will resonate with them and they will want to know more. How can you be so open-hearted? How can you be so inclusive? So these are some reflections on today's verses from Chaitanya Caritamrta. We got 5 minutes for questions, comments, and reflections. Now, you can't change your nature, but you can purify your nature by engaging it in Krishna's service. It's not possible that we become somebody different. We are who we are. We have been dealt a certain deck of cards, so we have to use what we have received in Krishna's service, and that will purify our nature and will be pleasing to Krishna. Yes. Free mic. I was telling Abdullah the other day that I was in San Francisco and there's a man walking towards me on the street near Market and Powell where the cable car is, and he had a big beard, and I said, Habibi, oh brother, oh friend, And he was like, oh, I know, I'm supposed to know this guy. But he was perplexed because he didn't remember me. He didn't know me. And then he was like, and then he expected me to say something more. And I didn't know. So I was like, okay, Krishna, you better help me here. So I said, Abdullah. And he said, how did you know? You remembered me. You remembered me. And he very enthusiastically took the book. Now I know this may not be very, very appealing to some of our viewers, but one time I was in San Antonio, Texas, and there was a lady in a big Mercedes car with a headscarf, and I showed her Bhagavad Gita, and she told me, I'm from Pakistan. And I could have said, oh, Pakistan? Next. Huh? But I said, Pakistan? Wow! And she said, you know Pakistan? I said, yeah, Karachi, Lahore, Islamabad, which one? And she said, you know Pakistan? I said, yeah, of course I know Pakistan. Everyone loves Pakistan. She gave me $50 for the Bhagavad Gita. Then at the end, just to make sure that we're okay, that we're cool, I asked her, do you know what this is? She said, my husband is a doctor. All my children are doctors. This is Bhagavad Gita. Of course I know what this is. We're educated people. So there's good people everywhere. We cannot generalize and think that the guys with the beards or the Russians or the Americans or the the black guys or the white guys or the yellow guys or the red guys. At the end, who is the bad guy? I met the enemy. It was me. It was my own ignorance. The enemy is ignorance. And the antidote is education. And that's why we're coming to class. That's why we're reading Prabhupada's books. And if we want Vigyan, realized knowledge, we have to become a team player and appreciate unity in diversity. We have a common mission, which is to give pleasure to their lordships by engaging in the Sankirtan movement of Caitanya Mahaprabhu. And we need all the help we can get. Just like Lord Ram. What was he fighting with? He had monkeys, he had bears, he had vultures. Not your usual type of, choice, right? If you're going to war against Ravan. But he worked with what he had. And he was very appreciative. Even of the little spider, the story of the spider or the squirrel, it goes both ways, who put a little bit of sand into the ocean to build the bridge. And he said to Hanuman, no, he's as good as me. You're both same. You're not different. Okay, you have big capacity, he's got small capacity, but both are doing service. So sometimes we forget that. And we get a little too conditioned by our by the noise in our own head. So I wanted to thank all the devotees for their kind attention, their hospitality, and their dedication to the Sankirtan movement of Caitanya Mahaprabhu. This place is very vibrant and very attractive, and so thank you for being who you are and doing what you do. And I hope and pray that you will find balance in unity and diversity. Srila Prabhupada's formula, his success formula for this Hare Krishna movement. Hari Om Tat Sat, Shri Chaitanya Caritamrta ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki, Jai Gaur Premanandi, Panchakalpatarubhyascha, Kripasindubhyevacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo.
Hare Krishna, we have some book scores from yesterday, 20th of September, for the pleasure of their Lordship, Shri Shri Radharandanishvara. Okay. For the pleasure of the Lordship, Shri Shri Radharandanishvara, Shri Shri Jagannath Baladeva Subhadra Marani, Shri Shri Gauranitai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj, And for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada, yesterday we distributed 107